later today, we will be seeing the FOMC's decision on potential rate rise. The market is largely expecting a 25 basis point rise. At the most recent ECB meeting, it was announced that the decision to abandon forward guidance as a policy tool had been made by the ECB. This had been a very useful policy tool when banks were seeking to suppress long-term rates, but today there's concern that it may be eroding the important credibility of central banks, which have been unable to provide accurate forward guidance in the past. Do you think that it was a good decision for the ECB to abandon forward guidance, and do you think that the Fed may follow the same?
Indeed, I think it was an excellent decision. I think that forward guidance should have been abandoned a long time before. And after all, I was a central banker myself once. I was on the UK's Monetary Policy Committee. And I can promise you that I cannot foresee the future any more than you can. And the idea that the central bank knows what the future is going to be and can easily assess it is just wrong. And forward guidance hasn't actually been very accurate. I look at the last few years with the forward guidance, and they've been wrong a lot. And central bankers don't know the future. Nobody knows the future, thank God. And that means the forward guidance is not something that makes the central bank more credible. Over the longer term, it probably makes them less credible because they frequently get it wrong. It was used simply because we were at the lower effective bound for interest rates. And the central banks thought that if they sort of swore blue, black, and blind, that interest rates would remain low for a long time. This would help to keep longer rates down and was therefore a means of trying to further make monetary policy expansionary during a time when inflation was being undershot. And I can understand the reasons for it then, but the moment that inflation begins to recover, as it has, the disadvantages of forward guidance remain, in fact become worse, and the advantages disappear. We should all get rid of forward guidance. We don't know the future. And the idea that somehow the central banks, the FOMC or the MPC in the UK, no, the future is just not so. They may be just an iota better than the market, and perhaps that's not difficult. But we don't know the future, and pretending that we do is just invalid.
Thank you so much for allowing me to ask these questions. Actually, again, it is interesting if you look over the last year as the Fed has raised rates. If you look at the forward guidance, had banks or treasury managers of banks followed the previous forward guidance, it actually resulted in them under-hedging their portfolio and a lot of the losses that may have arisen. So certainly can see the downsides of forward guidance as a tool in this type of market, and couldn't agree more that it was the right decision for the ECB, hoping that the Fed will follow and not come out with more guidance today.